Good morning. Good morning. My name is Laney Houser, and welcome to the Best to You Summit 2022. Welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you are here and tuning in. I know it's the very, very top of the hour, but I just wanted to say welcome to anyone watching this on replay. And today we're going to be talking about how to have a money mindset makeover, how to really step into a new mindset with money. I am super excited to be here and to lead you through this workshop. I know that it has power to be completely life-changing. So I just want to welcome you. I am Laney Houser, and I am sitting in a little hotel room in Dallas, Texas. It was my hope this morning to be outside enjoying the fresh air. I can see people in the swimming pool, but it is so hot here, it doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel like it's real. So you walk outside and it's like stepping into a sauna. I am from Bend, Oregon, which is up in the mountains in the central part of Oregon, where during the day it can be in the 80s or 90s, and in the nighttime it gets down in the 50s, sometimes even the 40s during the summer. So we cool off and then we get hot again. So I'm not used to this hot, sticky, yesterday was 106 with a lot of humidity. So I am inside this little hotel room, and I just want to welcome you to Money Mindset Makeover. We'll wait a couple minutes because I know people are tuning in. I know this is a very large conference that Marnie has so graciously put on, and people are probably still looking at their schedules, trying to figure out which workshop am I going to go to. Of course, you can watch this on replay. I am a huge replay girl because I love to listen to everything on 1.5. So that's me. I listen to books on 1.5. I listen to talks on 1.5, podcasts on 1.5, because I'm a busy girl, and we can listen faster than someone can talk. So welcome, whether you're here live or on the replay. I want you to know that you can ask questions anytime during this, and I will do my best to answer them as we go. And of course, if you're listening to this on replay, you can ask me questions by emailing me. You can Facebook message me. You can message me on Instagram. I am a real person. So welcome again to Money Mindset Makeover. We are going to make over our money mindset in the next hour together. We are going to change how we think about money, how we feel about money, and what we do with our money. I'm going to give you some actionable steps. I'm a big action girl, and I believe that when we take small steps in a certain direction, we'll eventually get there. If you continue to go in the same direction that you're going right now, you're going to end up in the same spot 1 year from now. But even if you change course just a tiny bit, even if you go from here and change course to here, that 1% will lead you in a totally new direction. So that's what I'm about, just taking those small mindful steps every single day so we can shift and change our lives. So why should you care about money? Well, my friend, money touches everything you love in life. It touches every single thing you love from the moment that you are born until the moment that you go home to heaven. So every single thing in your life, money touches, and it touches the things that you love most. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether you have a little or a lot, but what does matter is how you think about money. You know, over the years, I've worked with millionaires who've had panic around money because they're so afraid to lose it. And I've worked with people who are teachers and waitresses and just different kinds of people from the full spectrum of money. And whether you are very, very wealthy or just kind of average, it's not the money, but it's how you think about money. I know people who have had very modest incomes who love and enjoy their lives and are never afraid that money is going to run out. I know people who have had really modest incomes and become millionaires because they know what to do with their money. So it's not the money that you have or what's coming in the door. It's how you think about money. It's how you take action around money. It's what you do with money. Okay, so everyone wants more money, right? And for good reason. Money in and of itself is not bad. And good people do good things with money. Those of us with money, we create better families, we create better lives, we create better communities. And I believe that God wants us to have money in excess so that we can be generous. And I know that the church never talks about this. It never talks about giving except for in our stewardship Sunday when the pastor says something like, it's really important that you give 10%. But I want to be a woman who changes that, especially helping women shift when it comes to our money and our money stories and how much we make so that we can do more good in this world. I believe that as more women rise up into business and in our lives with money, that we can create a very, very different world. So that's what I'm about. And I want you to know that I come from the perspective of God. That is my orientation. But I know that I attract women from all walks of lives. And I want you to know that you are welcome here. You are always welcome in my space without judgment, without any kind of thoughts about that. I just want you to know that I come from a perspective of God. So you'll hear me use God. And I want you to know that I also realize that God is a very triggering word. And I've done a lot of my own personal work around God and healing some of the stuff. Because, friends, let's be honest, God is always good. It's the people who claim to be God-fearers that are not always good. And so I just want you to know that when I use the term God, you can use whatever works for you, whether it's universe or higher power, whatever works for you that is not triggering at this point in your lives that feels safe to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if the word God is triggering to you, I want to invite you to a space of healing that. Because when you heal that and you heal that part of you, I know that there's a lot of religious trauma out there. I know that there's a whole movement to reconstruct our faith. And I want you to know, I've had a lot of religious trauma. I have had points in my life where I have literally stuck my middle finger up to God. And yet I continue to walk in relationship with God because I have had a lot of healing. So I just want to invite you. There's no pressure here, but I just want to extend an invitation for you to heal that part of your lives because it's important when it comes to money, as you'll see. But I wanted to give you that little space of orientation about where I come from and invite you to be wherever you're at with it and just sit with it and be with it and know that there's no judgment here. So let's talk a little bit about negativity around money and having money, especially for those of us who are spiritual, because we can have a really hard time reconciling our spiritual life and making money or charging for services. And one of the things that I hear from women all the time is, Laney, I just have so much trouble charging for services. And I want you to know that we can put an end to that, hopefully right here, right now. I have never not charged for services. Even in my practice days, I charged for services. Even when I was working to be a mental health therapist and I was doing my clinical hours, I charged for my services. When I became a coach and had to do practice hours and practice sessions, I charged for my services. So I just want to invite you to a world where we get to charge and we get to increase our fees when we are ready for that, that we get to exchange energy for energy. We're going to talk more about this, but I want to be part of that change in your life. I want to help you make money. I want to help you make lots of money if you want to make money, because I know that if you're listening to me, you're going to do good things with your money. You're going to do God-given things with your money. And frankly, let's just be honest, money helps us enjoy life. And I believe that enjoying life is one of the highest good things that we can do for the kingdom of God. Nobody wants to be miserable. And I believe that it is up to us to cultivate joy, to cultivate prosperity, to enjoy our God-given strengths and talents and turn those into profits, and profits that matter to you, that matter to your family, and that matter to our communities and to the kingdom at large. So we are going to work on changing our mindset, because when we change our money mindset, we change our lives. We change our relationships to ourselves, we change our relationship to God, and we change the relationship to all the things that we love in our life. Working on your money story is one of the very best ways to create a happy, joyful life, because money touches everything. And what's true is that your abundance supports others. It's okay. I am going to give you permission over and over and over again to want to be happy. It's okay to want money. It's okay to have money. It's okay to want joy. It's okay to have joy. As a matter of fact, I believe that it is your highest good, your best self, that wants those things. They come from a place of abundance, and God is the author of abundance in our lives. So wanting those things is wanting all the good things that God already has for you. I'm all about creating freedom for yourself. I'm all about having money and knowing what to do with that money. I'm all about you growing in this area of your life, evolving in this area, growing your business, growing your money mindset. And so I am here to just walk you down a road of actually falling in love with money in the best way possible. What I know is that rejecting yourself, rejecting your work, rejecting your desires and your dreams will not get you where you want to go. As a matter of fact, that is a surefire recipe for a life of misery, for internal stress, for the push-pull that you feel, for creating stress outside of your side of yourself. And so let's go on a journey for the next few minutes to begin to create change in your lives. And what I don't believe in is I don't believe in holding anything back. I believe in teaching you every single thing that I know for free. I don't leave gaps in my workshop so you have to sign up for something else to get the whole meal deal. That's why I don't do webinars. I believe in giving you my best every single time I show up. So of course, 1 hour is super, super short, but I believe it can be an hour that is powerful and that changes your lives. And if you have questions, please pop them into the chat. I want you to know that I'm here to answer your questions and to really help you live your fullest, best life. My mission in life is to live my one God-given best life every single moment, from the moment that I wake up until the time that I go to bed every single night, and take as many people with me as I possibly can. Hopefully that's you, that you and I are going on a journey together to create all the fullness in your life. Now, can you work with me further? Of course you can. As a matter of fact, I fully believe that the best way that I can support you is if you work with me. I love working with women like you who want to further their money story, that want to grow their business. I run an academy called CEO Thrive Business Academy, where you can grow your life, your business to 6 figures, 7 figures, and way beyond that. I help women grow their passions into thriving businesses that you love without overwhelm and burnout. So of course you can work with me. But today I'm going to share with you how you can create lasting shifts around the topic of money. So why should you listen to me? Why should you be sitting here spending an hour with me? My name, like I said, is Laney Houser. I am a life coach, a business coach, a money mindset mentor, and a financial therapist. And what I do today is help women create businesses they love by letting go of the trauma around money, by letting go of the limiting beliefs around money, and creating sustainable businesses that get them where they want to be. I help women all the time create businesses quickly and easily, getting to that 10, 20, 30, 40 figures a month, wherever it is what you want, where you want to be. I have been a pastor in my life. I was on staff at a large church in Southern California. And a funny story, I got let go. And what they told me when I got let go was that they couldn't afford me. That in itself is what I call a money trauma. So I have had to heal that and work on that. I was a pastor who got let go, serving the flock, right? I have been a licensed clinical therapist in my life. I was a university professor. I taught trauma and trauma therapy to licensed therapist for many years. But I want you to know this is my most favorite job because I have figured out how to have a thriving business on my terms with people I love every single day, work as little as possible, and travel the world. And here I am sitting in a hotel room in Dallas, away from home, sharing with you, working my business, working my life, making it work for me. And I want you to know I am not that special. I am, a matter of fact, one of those people who went from seven figures and I lost it all. I had a business, and the last month I was in business, my therapy business made $177,000 that month. A few months later, I landed on food stamps. I had built a large community counseling center with multiple staff, both clinical staff as well as support staff. I reached seven figures. And on the outside, I looked like I had it all. But yet at home, I was living with a husband who was a very angry, very controlling man. He was a pastor in ministry, and yet I was suffering. My kids were doing fairly well in spite of the circumstances. I had a beautiful home, and on the inside, I was dying a little bit every single day. And I didn't know how to make it stop. I lived in silence and I felt stuck. And I know that many, many, many of you can relate. You feel stuck and you're living in silence. You're depressed, you're anxious, you're stressed out, and maybe like I did, you wished most days that you were dead. I did not know where to turn. And I ended up in treatment for a full month of my life. I was in a treatment facility for depression, inpatient hospitalization. I got out of there, and that's when I lost everything in my life. I let go of everything, and I started my life all over again. I spent almost 2 years in recovery, just picking up the pieces of my life, trying to figure out what in the world just happened to me. And yet, those are some of the most beautiful, precious moments of my life as I learned so many things and changed my entire life. Mostly, I learned that I mattered and that my dreams mattered and that happiness is actually something God wants for my life. You see, before I believed I was suffering for the Lord. And I know that seems like a strange thing, but I fully believe that. And I want you to know, I do not hold to that anymore. I do not believe that. I do not believe it is true. I believe that God in all of his goodness and glory wants you in your life to prosper, to be happy, to be filled with joy. And so I want to challenge you to believe that life is meant to be good. If you're struggling and you're struggling to believe this, book a call with me. Let's get together. I can show you in an hour how your life can be different because God intended for you to have good every single day. He wants you to live with goodness. Psalm 23 says, I always have more than enough. He opens the right path for me. You gave me drink until my cup overflows. So ladies and the gentlemen who are listening, I want you to know this includes your finances. Let's live the abundant life that God promised us. So that's me. I have since built a thriving online business, multiple six figures where I take my business on the road. I travel all over the world with my husband, who is still in ministry, and we have celebrated 34 years together this June. And I want you to know the best years are ahead of you. We both did our own work. We separated for 15 months, and now we live a life of joy and happiness every single day. But we both did our own work, ladies. There's no way around this without healing your story, without healing your life. So I invite you to a healed life. I invite you to a life that thrives without overwhelm, without stress, and with joy every day. Make my mission your mission. Wake up every single day and live your one best God-given life and take as many people with you as possible. All right. So there's 4 things that we need to know when it comes to changing our money mindset, when it comes to thriving with money. And so I want to teach you those 4 things today. And they are: understand money, Most of us do not understand money. We don't understand how it works. So I'm going to teach you how money works today. The second thing is to stop waiting for God or money to save you and create your own vision. I'm going to teach you how to do that. The third thing is to let go of money trauma and limiting beliefs around money. We all have them. Doesn't matter whether you are making millions currently or you are on food stamps like I was. You have money traumas. You have limiting beliefs around money. I'm going to teach you how to release those and let them go. And then the fourth thing is to step into your rich life of freedom and choice. Because ultimately, freedom and choice are the two highest things that God has given you. So we're going to walk through that. I'm going to buzz through that today. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. And if you're listening to this on replay, please feel free to reach out to me. Ask me any of your questions. Jump on a phone call with me. Let's get started. Let's work together. Do whatever it takes to get your life healed, to make more money, to really live a rich life of freedom and choice. It's the best life out there. I want you to know it's so awesome. Okay. So most of the time, women have trouble saying exactly what they are good at and stepping into their genius. And they don't understand themselves and they don't understand how money works. I will tell you, at my lowest, when I was in treatment for depression, I couldn't even tell you what my favorite color was. That's how low I was. And most women I talk to have trouble saying what they really want, what they're really good at, and stepping into that. And I want to invite you to a life of stepping into your strengths, stepping into your zone of genius, stepping into all of the good things that God has for you. Now, I know what I am. I am an expert on helping women thrive. I'm an expert on helping women heal the crap in their lives, get that stuff out of the way so that they can live a life that flows. They can live their own genius. I'm an expert on the energy of money and how money works. I can tell you why you don't have it and why you don't have what you want. I can tell you why your debt keeps coming back and why you have unexpected bills that keep showing up as you try and save money. I can help you understand why you're not getting raises and how to create an entirely new relationship with money. You do not have to dread opening bills, feeling guilty about debt, feeling shame around past financial experiences, feeling fear about money running out, or having that nagging fear that you'll never be able to create the financial reality that you feel good about. I'm here to tell you none of that has to be real for your life. It does not matter where you have been up to today or how it was for your parents or your grandparents, where you're from, where you were raised. Doesn't matter who you work for, what industry you're in, or what sad, scary thing that you've been taught around money and people who have money. They are certainly a lot of things that have contributed to how you think about money, both your inner reality about money and your outer reality about money. And they inform some of the work that you have to do around money, but they do not determine your future. They are not the last say or the final say in your financial success. And I want you to know, no matter what barriers, what pitfalls, what shame, no matter what roadblocks have been real to you up until this point, what matters most from here on out is that you are open and available to new ways of seeing, thinking, and believing about money. Not what happened to you in the past, but just being open to new ways of thinking about money. And while I create trainings and programs to help people grow their businesses and to live happy lives, to live joyful, happy lives, I have seen these principles work across multiple backgrounds, multiple industries, multiple circumstances, because money has no limits. Only you have limits. The energy of money is not limited to a certain field, a certain job, certain experiences. Your relationship with money can be revolutionized right now only if you are open, because money doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care where you've come from. It doesn't care anything about how you feel the world should treat you. Money is only responding to you. Money is responding to your thoughts. It's responding to your vibrations. It's responding to your feelings and to the patterns that you've had around money. So money is simply responding to you. My husband, bless him, he went to 4 Starbucks this morning to give me this lovely blonde latte with almond milk. 4 Starbucks. Anyway, so I'm enjoying it. It's my favorite drink. I love it. As a child, I was taught that we didn't have enough. My mother came from extreme poverty. When she was 14 years old, she went to work, and my grandmother and my grandfather had separated for a time. My grandfather actually walked out, and my mom didn't know where the money was coming from. My grandmother, her mother, was raised in foster care. She didn't even have enough shoes. Her shoes had holes in them when she walked to school in the cold and snow in Rochester, New York. So my mother grew up in extreme poverty. At age 14, like I said, she went to work, and she even provided Christmas presents. She talks about the one Christmas where she got one pan so that she could help cook for the family. So she grew up with that mindset. And honestly, to this day, even though she's had plenty of money, she still carries this mindset of poverty, extreme poverty, not just poverty, but extreme poverty with her. The other side of my family, my dad's side of the family, was very, very wealthy. My parents met in a high school in Pasadena that drew rich kids from the La Cañada Hills and the poor kids from inner city. My mom was a poor kid. My dad was a rich kid. They met and had me and then got married. So I have got this really strange, rich, poor money mindset, money experience in my life. So I grew up believing that we didn't have enough money. I grew up with my mom. She had extreme poverty. My parents divorced when I was 4 years old, and my mom went on food stamps. She lived in a little one-bedroom apartment where everyone brought her food and stuff. My grandparents and her siblings brought her food. She literally had nothing. And so even when she got remarried and my stepfather had more than enough, way more than enough, she still believed she was poor. So I grew up believing that I was poor in spite of having plenty of money. My mother now has hundreds of thousands of dollars in jewelry. She has taken fancy trips around the world. And yet at the age of 12, I got a job and I started buying my own clothes and bought every speck of my own clothes from the time I was 12. Later in life, for me, it meant that I believed I could have whatever I want, even if I didn't have any money. So I just started to develop debt when I was in college. And of course that led to debt. My mom has this really poverty mindset, and yet my stepfather made plenty of money, plenty of money. I grew up in a really wealthy area of Southern California once my mom got remarried, but she carried around this mindset, and all her mantra is still, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. And yet she has plenty of money. So of course it's going to lead me to debt, because I believe that even if I can't afford it, I still buy it because that's what I saw my mom do. And my grandmother on my father's side had loads of money. My great grandfather was very, very wealthy during the Great Depression of the 20s. He had left my grandmother over $1 million in stocks and bonds in the mid 60s. There were 4 girls. Each one of them got over $1 million in the 60s. In stocks and bonds. So they had great wealth. I don't even know how much that would be equivalent to today, but my grandmother really made that money work for her. She was very wealthy, but she was fairly frugal, but she always knew she had enough, and she had an incredible abundance mindset. My father, coming from this very wealthy mother, ended up being a teacher, and he still will say, oh, my mother never worked a day in her life. She never worked a day in her life because she understood money at a very deep soul level and how it worked. But this led me to be really confused around money. Then I coupled that with what I learned in church, and that it's not spiritual to have money. I didn't understand a thing about money. And so when I went from 7 figures to food stamps, I pulled a major time out in my life. And I began to study 2 things. I was miserable. I was extremely unhappy, wanted to die. And I was now super poor, repeating some of the patterns in my family, right? My mom was on food stamps, now I'm on food stamps. Now, I went from really wealthy to really poor. And so I just began to say, whoa, stop, time out in my life. And I began to study two things: happiness and money, from a scientific and biblical perspective. But listen in, my friend, I not only studied these things, but I put them in practice. In other words, I took action. I began to take action. If you want your life to change and you're listening today, and all you do is listen to these incredible words and this incredible truth that I'm teaching you, but you do nothing with it, your life will not change. Not one single thing in your life will change. As a matter of fact, you're going to keep going, like I talked about earlier, in this same direction, instead of taking the 1% shift that would create a new direction in your life. I hope that listening to me, you will veer off in the way of the 1% and begin to take a little bit of action in your life. So my mom is always in the energy of restriction, and my grandmother was always in the energy of freedom and abundance. I want you to experience the energy of freedom and abundance. I will tell you from personal experience, it's so much better. And God is in the energy of overflow. He talks about it in Psalm 23. It's my soul's mission and life purpose to empower you to break through all the things that hold you back from money, hold you back from designing a life where you love it, from making the money you want to make, from embodying the good work that God has for you. Friend, I love doing this work. It's fun. It's rewarding. I love embodying the good things in this life. It means every day I get up and I enjoy my life. I live my one God-given best life every single day. And I have women just like you do it every day too. I work this stuff like it is the fabric of my being. Happiness just doesn't come to you. We create it. And I believe you can create happiness right here, right now, in this moment with me, because happiness is not out there. Money is not out there. It is all in here. And the cool thing about working on your money story is you become more spiritual, more closer to God, not further, more dependent, not less. And your relationship with important people in your life gets better and better and better. So when we talk about money, we must understand what the heck it is. Let's dive in. Money is energy, and energy is everything. And everything is energy. And energy with which you do a certain thing determines the outcome of that thing. So, in other words, how you do one thing is how you do everything. The energy that you put in equals the energy that you get out. And energy is always created. Energy is always exchanged. The second law of thermodynamics says energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It is just simply being exchanged constantly. Energy is created through emotion, through words, through visualization, through our imagination, through our movement. And when you choose to think certain thoughts, certain feelings, or move in certain ways, all of that creates energy or vibration known as frequency. Hear me out. This is not woo-woo. This is how God designed the universe. Every single thing in your life vibrates with energy. Your cells move at a certain vibration. Our voices carry a certain frequency. We know that animals pick up different frequencies than we do. And so we're constantly vibrating. Money is simply a vibration. Money is simply energy. And in order to create more of it, you've got to vibrate at the energy of money. And I'm going to teach you a little bit about that. But I want to share with you, because I know some of you are like, ooh, 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 this is woo, woo, woo. No, it is not. This is science. This is how God designed the universe to work. I first became interested in energy when I was working as a mental health therapist. And suddenly one day I got a phone call that my best friend had sudden cardiac death. And I had no idea that that was even a thing. All of a sudden, all I knew is that this beloved person in my life was gone in an instant. I didn't get to say goodbye. There wasn't even time to process it. I was 37 years old. She was a few years older than me. And I lost one of the most precious things in my life. And what I learned is that the electricity stopped working in her heart. And so I began to try and figure out, what in the world does it mean that electricity stops in your heart? You know that you have enough electricity? Electricity is energy to light up an entire city. We are full. We have electrical. Our heart is the electricity. It's pumping energy all the time. At the same time, I was beginning to study how the brain waves work in the brain. I was beginning to study alpha waves and how stimulating alpha waves actually relieves depression. I was trying really hard to not have my clients. I was working with eating disorders, and eating disorders are, they come with depression, or depression comes with eating disorder, whatever way you want to look at it. But I was looking at different ways to stimulate, how to get rid of, or to let depression be a little bit less, or a lot of bit less, by using electrical waves called alpha waves. Our brain has multiple different waves going on all the time. Alpha waves is one of those. And when you stimulate the alpha waves, you stimulate the waves in your brain that create happiness. You can stimulate those right now by thinking a happy thought. Happy thoughts create movement of the alpha waves in your brain, and the theta waves are a little bit higher. Those are the ones that go right before you go to sleep. But by stimulating those alpha waves right now, by thinking a happy thought, or by thinking something that you're really grateful for and feeling that in your body, you create alpha waves. So you have got all kinds of energy. Do you know that by taking an antidepressant, you're changing the chemical energy in your body, right? That's a chemical way of changing the energy. This is why it's super important to change the way you eat. If you eat crappy food, you're going to get crappy input. Eating healthy food or high vibrational food creates energy. That's why green plants are really healthy for you. Why? Because they are full of chlorophyll, not to mention vitamins and nutrients, but they're absorbing the energy from the sun. You're internalizing that energy, and you're creating a higher vibration in your life. That's why it's really important to eat foods of all different colors, because they're taking on the energy of the sun. All right. I studied nutrition in college. I have a degree in nutrition and a minor in chemistry. So I love knowing how energy flows. It is not some woo-woo thing. It is simply the way the universe works. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency or energy. Why is this important when it comes to money? Because money is currency. That's why we call it currency. When you plug that plug, like I've got my computer plugged into the wall right now, it's operating at a certain frequency. I mean, money is operating at a certain frequency, currency. And so when you vibrate at the frequency of money, the easier it will be for you to create money and make more of that a reality. Opportunities will come, unexpected money will come your way. But the important thing to know is that you must operate at the frequency of more money. What frequency is that? It's a very high vibrational frequency. It's joy, it's peace, it's love, and vibrating, it's gratitude, vibrating into all of those, and understanding that those of us who make plenty of money, that money comes to us easily, we are embodying the frequency of joy and money all the time. I am constantly shifting my state so that I embody joy. I never, ever, ever will go back and allow myself to be depressed. As a matter of fact, the moment that I feel depression, and depression is different than sadness or grief, but the moment I feel like life isn't going my way and I step into that, I will shift really quickly. I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a minute. But how you spend money is a really important frequency shift. So choosing not to spend money out of honoring yourself and being grateful for the money that you do have, and really holding on to your money for gratitude's sake and honor's sake, is very different than choosing not to spend money out of fear that it's going to run out. Can you feel those energies? Those are two different things. They're two very different energetic states. And you get to create the one that you want. So when you're not spending money, shift so that you're spending it out of, or not spending money out of gratitude and honoring yourself, instead of not spending it out of fear of it running out. My mom used fear energy. My grandmother used honor and abundance energy. When she didn't spend money, it was because she was honoring herself and honoring her money. Now, I want you to know there's no right or wrong here. Neither one of these is bad or good. Money is neutral. and how you experience money is neutral. They're just two different experiences. And what you create is around money. You get to choose that. You get to pick that. Money is simply responding to your energy. It has absolutely no mind of its own. It's just reflecting you and how you think about money. That's why, and hopefully you're beginning to see that you want to become a match for your desired income range. In other words, let's just say that you are wanting to create 10 figures, $10,000 a month in your business, and you are wanting to get from where you're at to creating sustainable every single month, creating $10,000 in your business every month. Or maybe you're at 10,000 and you want to move to 50. Maybe you're at 10,000 and you want to work to 30. It doesn't really matter where you're at. You just want to become a desired match for that income range. And maybe some of you, you're thinking, well, $10,000 a month, Lane, I can't even imagine that. Or it just brings me so much stress to think of that. Pick a number. Maybe you're at a place where, gosh, if I made $3,000 a month, that would be a huge difference for me. Then become a match for that desired income range. Make your 3,000, your 10,000, your 50,000, wherever you're at, a match. Feel gratitude. Feel that money coming in. Feel it as if it were real to you today. You're going to create a vision around that money. And I want to talk just a little sentence about debt. I don't believe that debt is bad. It's simply a frequency. And when you change the dial and you're no longer available for that frequency match, things will change for you. So it's just simply dialing or redialing and tweaking your life. So if you're taking notes, here's some things you can ask yourself towards changing the energy around money. So the first thing is, what are you afraid of when it comes to money? What do you feel ashamed about when it comes to money? Where do you need to forgive yourself? Where do you need to forgive someone else? Forgiveness work is huge when it comes to changing your money mindset. Shame work is huge when it comes to changing your money mindset. Let go of the shame. If you're holding on to shame, if you're holding on to unforgiveness around money, you will always operate at a lower vibration. So let that go and begin to operate at a higher frequency. What do you wish you can change? What do you feel like you would be like to be experiencing around money moving forward? If you were designing a brand new reality for yourself today, what would be happening between you and money? It's a really great question to ask yourself. Go back, if you're listening to this live or on replay, go back and write these questions down and begin to ask them to yourself. And then write down this stuff. Here's a new mantra for you. I am ready. I am open. I am willing to see things differently. What I'm giving you is just a different perspective. I am ready. I am open. I am willing to see things differently. Maybe Laney has something to say about that. Maybe what she's talking about is true. She lives a different life than she used to. I am willing right now to have a shift in my perception around money. I'm also willing to have a shift in my thoughts and perception in other areas of my life needing healing and transformation. Make these things your mantras. I am available. I am willing to see patterns in my life, my relationship with money. I am willing to close doors. I am willing to rearrange paradigms and thoughts and enter a new experience with money. It's simply a shift in how you experience money. So this is the beginning of changing your shifting. Here's the work for you. Answer these questions. Create a new mantra. I am willing and open to close doors, to rearrange paradigms, to enter a new experience with money. So the second thing you need to know is Prince Charming isn't coming, my friend, and neither is God. He's already there. He's with you wherever you're at, and wherever you're vibrating at, whatever frequency you're at, he's right there with you. Both of these ideas put you into a victim mindset. And my dear friend, I want you to know you are way more powerful than that. You were created in God's image to do powerful, powerful things in your life. I will often tell my clients when they've stepped into blaming, shaming, or other crazy victim mentalities, and my friend, we all have them. There is no shame. There's no judgment. There's nothing here. There's just noticing that you've stepped into a victim mentality. And I want to tell you, there's only two people who can rescue you. You and God by a miracle. And If I were you, I'd count on you because you have infinite power. You are made in God's image and you have so much power in here. Give gratitude when a miracle shows up in your life. Be thankful beyond belief. But here's the thing, you are consistent. You have the ability to use your power to be consistent on a daily basis. Miracles are not. Miracles show up when you're at the absolute end of yourself. Treatment for me was a miracle, but I went, right? Treatment for me, I had a number of miracles that happened for me to get there, but I was the one who did the work. Among spiritual women, there's this mindset that if God wants you to have something, he'll just give it to you. It's almost as if you are only good enough or smart enough or loving enough, then God will give you some sort of break and all of a sudden you're going to have money. That is never going to be true for you because first of all, you are more powerful than that. You are so, so powerful. And then second, if it did happen, you wouldn't even know what to do with it and it would all be gone. You would be so scared that it would run out because it was a miracle and it just happened and it was just this one-time thing in your life and that could never happen again, that you will panic around money. Here's what's true. You are powerful enough to create the income that you want. You are powerful enough to create any kind of income that you want. That power exists inside of you and God is trusting you to bring your dreams to life. And some of you need some deep, deep healing to get it. My friend, go get the freaking healing. Do it. I am not that special. You can do it too. Get the healing what you want, that you need and that you want. You don't have to wait for your sugar daddy, for God or a rich husband or some big client to solve your problems. Instead, activate your God-given qualities and live an incredible life. Living an incredible, extraordinary life is up to you. Every morning I wake up and I ask myself, how can I live my one God-given best life today? Being present in this moment. What limiting belief can I let go of? What is holding me back? And what can I do to have the life I want, the friends I want, the income that I want, the relationship with my husband I want, the relationship with my kids and grandkids that I want? How can I become more amazing? And how can more of this amazing life become mine? You are in charge of your life. You're in charge of how it goes. I am not that special. You too are capable of creating the life you want. Your past doesn't matter. In a very real way, your past doesn't even exist. Only this moment exists in real life. I would often tell my clients who were dwelling on the past or worried about the future, say, wait, let's just stop for a minute. I want you to imagine that you're standing inside a circle. Your circle looks like this, and you're standing right in the middle of this circle, and you encompass this whole circle. So the circle is like really tight around your legs. It's just a circle right here. And this is the only place where God's grace exists for you, right here in this moment. The moment that you go into the past or the moment that you go into the future is the moment that you step outside of God's grace. You get to create a beautiful life. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. There's no one to impress. You're good enough right here. God made you enough. Every single part of you and every single part of your life gets easier when you stop doubting yourself, questioning yourself, stop beating yourself up, and accept the truth. You are powerful. You can live in this moment. You can live your one best life. You can create the money that you want. Let that soak into you at a cellular level. You get to choose your orientation. You can choose whether you live in the past or your future. And you get to choose what your future looks like. You get to turn around patterns that no longer serve you and break the mold and create a new design for your life. I get it, friend. I get it. I was the girl who looked outside of herself for all of the answers. A few years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, you would have seen me as someone abandoning myself all the time. Giving and giving and giving to the people around me until I was broke, depleted, and wanted to die. I was dying every single day as parts of me went out and I abandoned myself and I lived an unfulfilled and depressed life, even though I was making a crap ton of money. But the energy you bring to the thing will change the thing that you bring the energy to. So by changing and rearranging your thoughts, you give the thing the power that it has in your life, and you have the ability to change that. Your entire life exists right in here. You are not set up for the life that you want to live. You've got to create it. The circumstances, the limitations, and the background you came from, they're all real. But you have more power in you to overcome that. In your past, you lived them, you subscribed to them, you gave them your time, you gave them your attention, you gave them your money, and you couldn't see beyond them. And you didn't always have a choice to the things that happened to you. And I want you to know that I hear you. I see you. It's not your fault. And it wasn't okay. My earliest childhood memory is of being sexually violated. That was not, I was 2.5, maybe 3 years old. I remember it vividly. And I want you to know, my friend, the stuff that's happened to you, like, that's not your fault. The story that you grew up with, the family that you grew up with, none of that's your fault. But what you do with it and your way out of it is creating new patterns in your life than you're currently in. You're in control, and you get to determine what happens in your life from right here, as you're hearing me, on out. You get to shift and create a new reality for yourself. You get to decide. The power lies within you. You have the power to choose. You get to decide if you're worthy. You get to decide if you deserve more. You get to decide what you want is possible. And I love the word deserve because it's so triggering for people. Do you know that you deserve whatever it is that you want? And if you're triggered by the word deserve, do some work around it. Because I promise you, it will lead you back to a sense of very peaceful gratitude in your life when you finally realize that not only are you worthy, so worthy, worth beyond any money that you could ever make, create, and deserving. You deserve it all, my friend. If those words are triggering for you, do your work. I get that you might not feel these feelings, but if you want a big, expansive life, you need to let go of the practical and logical ideas you're having right now. To get you from where you are now and where you want to be, you've got to create a new identity. And this is where it's magical. And it appears confusing, but here's what is true. You must know what you want. You must know what you want. And I know I've worked with enough women to know that you are afraid to admit to yourself what it is you really want. Because once you admit what you want, you're responsible for it. You have to look at it. And often you don't feel worthy or like you deserve it. But once you admit to yourself what you really want, what you really desire, what you really, really want way down in there, there is no stopping you. Your purpose, your life calling, your financial future, your intimacy, your romantic life, your happiness, they're way too important to keep lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself that you don't know what you want. This is the single most important question there is. It's not the safest question. It's not the easiest question. But you, my friend, have permission to desire. As a matter of fact, God put those desires in you, those wants, those things in you. And maybe you're thinking, oh, Laney, if I got what I wanted, I'd sit and watch Netflix and eat ice cream all day. And I want you to know it's a lie. It's a lie, lie, lie. That is not what you want. Your soul wants depth. Your soul wants meaning. Your soul wants to live purpose. And I want you to ask yourself some questions. Jot these down, go back, rewind, and listen to them. If nothing I ever wanted was bad or wrong, what would I want? This is a question that I ask women all the time. As a matter of fact, this is where I start with women. What do you want? Dig down deep. And if what I wanted, no one would ever be mad at me, no matter what I did, what would I want? If I knew I couldn't lose anything in my life, what would I want? If nothing bad would happen in my life, what would I want? If I trusted myself, what would I want? There is nothing wrong with desiring. God did not make a mistake when he gave you your desires. It was put there for you and you alone to fulfill. Anything else is a lie. Get really clear on what you want and let your heart lead you. Create a vision for your life. This is where you get to create. This is how creating a vision for your life goes along with letting go of some belief that God is going to just make you have money if you're good enough, or if you do something, like it's just going to magically appear in your life. It is not, my friend. And also, like, I'm just going to marry someone wealthy and it's just going to appear. Instead, you take the reins of your life, create a vision that looks like the life that you want to wake up and live every day, and then become her every single day. Let your future self imagine 3 years out. What is she doing? What is she wearing? What does she look like? Who does she hang out with? Who are her friends? What kind of relationship does she have with her partner? What is she wearing? What kind of things is this future version of you doing? And let her pull you forward. When you get out of bed, say, my future, whatever age you want my future, whatever, 45-year-old self, 55-year-old self, 65-year-old self, 35-year-old self, she's going to pull me forward. I'm going to wake up and be her every single day. Create a vision so clear that you experience it with all of your senses, with your hearing, with your eyes, with your taste. You can smell it. You can feel it. Feel what it feels like to make the money that you want to make. How much money is this woman making? And then feel what it feels like with gratitude and goodness to be her. And then what's the next thing that's going to happen once you declare what you want? What's going to happen to you when you declare what you want? Well, of course, your brain is going to decide all the reasons why you cannot have that. And this is where clearing out the money traumas comes in. Remember, all of those things that you're thinking about, all those limiting beliefs, they're there to keep you safe. Our brains are designed at all times to keep us safe, to keep us belonging to our tribe so that we have food to eat and a good place to sleep at night. Having desires begins to feel unsafe because it's something we've never done before and it feels unsafe. So the next part of this equation is letting go of your limiting beliefs, letting go of limiting trauma. Money trauma, it comes in all shapes and sizes, and it's designed to keep you safe. But I want you to know, my friend, having a lot of money is safe. If that needs to be your mantra, having money is safe, let that be your mantra. Having a lot of money is safe. It is safe to have money. It is safe to start with $100 in your bank account and work up to $100,000 in your bank account. It is safe to have $100,000 in my bank account. It is safe to have 100. It is safe to have 1,000. It is safe to have more money than I know what to do with. There are limiting beliefs and trauma, and it comes in all forms. And your job is to clear it out and heal it. My friend, this will heal your life. It'll heal your bank account. It'll heal your relationships. As women, you need to know that it's safe to have your own money. It grieves my heart to no end when I am on the phone and I know that I can help a woman. I can take her from where she is and help her in 90 days. I know that your life can be way different than it is now. And they tell me that I can't afford this because my husband won't let me. My friend, you are responsible for your life. Now, I am all about marriage being a really great, wonderful experience and talking about money. But I want you to know that you get to be in charge of your life. Trust yourself so deeply that you know that when you invest in something, that you can turn it around and make that money so that you trust yourself so that your husband trusts you. The reason a woman tells me that is because she doesn't trust herself. It has nothing to do with your husband. It's you don't trust yourself, so he's not going to trust you. When I work with men, and I do from occasion, I help men with anger sometimes. I help men live their best lives too. They never say that to me. They just sign up and figure out how they're going to make the money. Men trust themselves more than women. Trust yourself enough to make the investment in yourself and figure out how you're going to make the money. The first time I signed up for a high-end coaching, it was $10,000. The very first time I invested in it, I had no idea. I called my mom and said, Mom, can I borrow this money? I'll pay you back in the next 10 months. I had no idea where the money was going to come from. But I trusted myself to make that money. You must begin to trust yourself. In order to do that, you've got to look at your limiting beliefs and your trauma. Maybe your mom told you, like my mom did, oh, money burns a hole in your pocket. Do you think that I could hold on to money if money burns a hole in my pocket? My pants are on fire, for crying out loud. I believed that for a long time. I believed that I wasn't good with money, that I couldn't hold on to money because of that one comment that my mom said to me a number of times. One of my clients had money trauma because her husband would take the money and she'd go to the grocery store, end up at the checkout counter, and she'd get to the register and not have enough money for all the food in her cart. And she didn't know how much money. This is the day before you check your accounts online and whatever. It was years ago that this happened to her. Created an extreme panic around money for her. Even to this day, 20 years later, she was still struggling with the panic that she had around money. Maybe you had a grandmother who, like I did, who had no shoes. Went to school with, maybe someone yelled at you and told you you were bad with money. Maybe you've had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure. Maybe you're like me and made a ton of money and you lost it. Or maybe you're just afraid you've got a ton of money and you're afraid it's going to go out the door. Maybe you're buying something and you're switching between cards and wondering what account has money in it and you don't know how to get out. All of these are money traumas. Maybe you made a vow of poverty somewhere along the lines. You decided you were going to just serve God and it didn't matter how much money you make. And you said, oh, it doesn't matter how much money I make. I just want to be happy. I want to encourage you to renounce that, to cut those ties, any kind of past money trauma from any kind of vows that we've made, consciously or unconsciously. Cut those ties, renounce it, and take back your power. We all have money traumas. We all have limiting beliefs around money. We all have blocks and we got to clear them. Here are a few things that our brains will tell us in addition to the traumas that we have had. First of all, keep a list of all the things that tell you you can't have what you want. So every time that something comes up and it tells you you can't have what you want, ask yourself, is this true? Is it an idea? Is it governed by the truths of the universe that God has set in place? Or is it just an idea? And ideas are not required to believe. Is it true that you're not good with money? That your money, like my mom did, burns a hole in your... Is it true that my pants are on fire? No, it is not true. Is it true that rich people are greedy? Maybe you had a bad experience with someone who was rich and it left a bad taste in your mouth. But is it true? No. There are plenty of examples of people with wealth who are super generous and kind and giving and joyful, who love God. Money simply magnifies where you already are. It gives you power and resources to magnify your heart as it always is. If you believe that your heart is ultimately bad, you will struggle with money. You'll struggle to have money and keep money because you believe that your heart is bad. Is it true that your heart is bad? No, it is not true that your heart is bad. Money is simply a living prayer in action. You can pray for something when you have money and then let your money be an extension of your prayer life and your love for all the good things that God has put in your life. You are in charge of trusting yourself with money. Is it true that when you make more money, it's all going to go to taxes? No, it's not true. Will you have to pay more taxes? Yes. Here's how I look at taxes. Give thanks for those roads that you drive on, for the stoplights, for the street cleaners, for Social Security, for community services. I am so grateful for all of them. I was on food stamps and I'm incredibly grateful to pay taxes. Look at them as a blessing and imagine your life without them. Is it true that something bad will happen to make money go away? No, it's not true. It's my experience that people whose money has gone all away, like me, believed that it was possible for them. In some ways, I resented some of the responsibility that came with my money. I didn't understand how money worked. And I I had a belief that I couldn't be spiritual and have money. And so I just gave my money away. I gave my services away. I gave myself away. And I was so depleted. Stop doing that. Stop. You are more infinite, more valuable, and more deserving than you could ever imagine. Money doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't just get up and leave out of your bank account. It's responding to you. Is it true that money is the root of all evil? No, it is not true. I actually believe the opposite is true. We see crime accelerated in areas of extreme poverty in this world. Is it true that the only way to make money is working hard? No, it is not true. The hardest working people would then be rich, the teachers, the servers. It is not true. My grandmother was living proof that work and money do not go together. Focus on the outcome and not on the process. You do not need to know how. You just need to create a vision of your future self and heal all of these areas in your life. Ask yourself, where am I carrying money shame? Write down every single time there's a thought in your life in your mind that comes and says you can't have what you want. Write it down and then refute it with the truth. Continue to battle your mind with the truth. Can you have however much money that you want? That is what's true. You can create as much money as you want. Once you get and understand how money works, you clear out the money traumas, then you can live a rich life of freedom and choice. And I want to give you some action steps to show you how easy it is to make money. Money is simply flow. It is simply energy. It can't be created nor destroyed. And when you are in a relationship with a potential client, it is simply just an exchange of energy. Your prices are a reflection of your belief about yourself and about money. If I were coaching you, I would probably ask you today to double your fees. That's probably one of the steps I would take. I would ask you to do. I want you to know that you absolutely can live a rich life of freedom and choice. Choice is the biggest gift that God has ever given us. And I want to give you some action steps to show you how easy money can be. Here's an assignment you can go and you can do today. You can do it right after you're done listening to this. I want you to take out a sheet of paper and list 50 ways that you can make money today, right now, in the next 4 or 5 hours. You set a timer for 20 minutes and then you do not stop until you reach 50. Right? You're going to reach 50 things. You're going to take out that paper. Maybe at 16 or 15, you're absolutely stuck and you think this is the worst assignment. You crumble up that piece of paper and you throw it away. The first time I did this, literally one of the things at the top of my list was, well, I could sell my body like a prostitute. Now, is it something I'm going to do? No. Is it silly that it even came into my mind? Yes. But the goal of it was just to literally like do a brain dump and think of 50 ways that I could make money. And some of them were silly and funny like that, right? One of them was I could sell my car. Never mind that I would not have a way to get around. So you're not judging. You're not criticizing the things that are coming out. You're literally just letting those 50 ideas come and don't stop until you get to 50. You could drive Uber. There's a U-Haul place in my town that I drive by every day that says, work today, pay today. Put that on your list, right? There's different things that you could do to make money today. You could borrow money from someone like I did. The first time I ever signed up for a high ticket item, it was $10,000 and I borrowed my money. I had money from my mom. I had no way of knowing how I was going to pay her back. You do not have to know how. You just have to create that vision, understand how money works, create your own vision for money so that you as a woman have money, and then begin to work it. This is one of the ways that you can begin to work it. You could pet sit. You could sell something, right? There's infinite ways to make money. Money can come to you in infinite ways. And then when you're done with that assignment and you've created 50 ways to make money today, you're going to take out another sheet of paper, set your timer for 20 minutes, and you're going to write down 50 ways you can make money in your business. Doesn't have to be today, just 50 ways that you can make money in your business. Maybe you could create a course in the next couple of days that you could sell. Maybe you could reach out to former clients and offer them a new offering that you've got. Maybe you could set up a $27 on Facebook with a couple upsells and a couple order bumps and run ads to create a high ticket offer to your high ticket offer. Meanwhile, your ads are paying for themselves. You can set that up in a weekend. You can create a $27 product with a $37 upsell and a $77 upsell that ultimately goes to your $5, $10, $15,000 product. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. Women are doing this every single day. Do you have a high ticket offer? If not, why? Stop selling hourly work. If you are working for 100 or 50 or 200 or 250 an hour, stop doing that. Ask yourself what the block is. There is a reason that you're working for an hourly wage. You have a block, you have a fear. Go back to the limiting beliefs part, the blocks part, and ask yourself what's stopping you from having what you want. What do you want? What stops you from getting what you want? And if you're struggling and you're like, I don't know, Laney, I don't know, this all feels really scary and I don't know how to do this, book a call with me. I can help you get unstuck. I'm the queen of that. That is my zone of genius. I help women get unstuck every single day. I know the questions to ask. When I was a kid, I asked so many questions. It's funny that I went into a profession where I asked questions because I would ask so many questions. My dad would say, stop asking questions. And my mom, they're divorced, remember. So I grew up with two different families, two different things. And my mom would ask me, are you writing a book? Can you leave this chapter out? No, it's my zone of genius. I do it naturally. I know how to ask you the right questions to get you unstuck, to get you unblocked. Why do you not have a high ticket offer? Ask yourself, dig deep. If you're afraid to go there, get someone who can help you. If not me, then someone else. Find someone to help you, to dig deep with you. What's the block? And I want you to know that even without a business, you can do this work. This work is not limited to some sort of business or occupation. You can do this money work. You can ask for a raise. You can look for a higher paying job. There are infinite ways to make money. If you don't have a business right now, what is your passion? What is your dream? Take that to market. There is somebody out there waiting for you to turn your dream, your vision into a product or a service so that they can have it. And it will bless their socks off. So 4 things, my friend, you must understand how money works. Understand that it's not limited. It's simply a form of energy. You can have whatever it is that you want. The second is stop waiting for someone else. You become the victim the moment that you're waiting for someone else. The moment that you say, I have to ask my husband, or, I don't trust myself, or all these things, that's the moment you become a victim. You are so infinitely powerful. Step into your power. Own yourself. Be the woman that God's created you to be. You are beautiful and powerful and wonderful, amazing. You are queen of your world. Be her. And the third step is, once you know what you want, you've created this vision, all sorts of stuff is going to come up for you. Begin to clear that out. Let go of your trauma. Let go of your limiting beliefs. Let go of that stuff. Can't do it on your own. Hire someone. Get some help. Remember, you don't have to know where the money comes from to hire someone. You just have to know and trust yourself that you're going to make this money. You're going to make this a real thing. You're going to make your dreams come true. And then the third thing is step into a rich life of freedom and choice. Take action, write those 50 things down and then another 50 things down so that you have 100 ways to make money. I can teach you how to make $10,000 in 10 days, no matter what you're doing in your life. It is not rocket science. I can challenge you to make $10,000 in 10 days. $10,000 is a big enough amount. Whether you're in ministry or a business or you have got a job, you can do this. You are powerful. You are creative. You have everything within you. You are listening to a woman who gets you. I understand depression. I understand anxiety, not just personally, but professionally as well. Remember, I was a therapist for 15 years. I worked with women who had severe eating disorders, who were bulimic in their 30s, and I helped them get unstuck. Now I help women get unstuck in their businesses and create businesses and money that they love. Create a high vibe life. Start eating high vibe foods. Start drinking more water. You know that even water is it's an energy form. Start drinking more water. Start there. Most of you live dehydrated lives. Well, my friend, I love you so much. I know that all of this is possible. I've lived it, I've created it. I work this every single day, and so can you. Doesn't matter where you are right now. This life is waiting for you. And my question to you is, what will you do today to take the first step? What will you do to step into her, to be her, to rise up and thrive? Join me in a movement of helping women really live their very best lives and thrive financially, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, all the things. May God richly bless you as you step into a consistent, beautiful, lovely vibration of joy and live in joy and peace and generosity and goodness and faithfulness and self-control as you step into all the good things God has for you. I love you, and I'll see you next time.